We did it. We've teamed up, and together we've created something special. We are the Idaho Underground Sports Network, and we're changing the game. We're covering Idaho high school sports in a way that you haven't seen before. Together, we'll be providing weekly breakdowns and recaps while helping uncover Idaho's top talents at a deeper level. Trust us, you want to be part of this. Boise Sports Talk, EBC Media, and the Game Time Guru bring you Gym Session. Let's get to work. What's up, everyone? Welcome out to another episode of the Gym Session podcast, brought to you by the Idaho Underground Sports Network. Alongside AJ from EBC Media, Ty from Boise Sports Talk, I am Shane, the Game Time Guru, and we are bringing you Gym Session week number 2 with a lot of exciting content to bring your guys' way. I mean, we had the game of the week last week where Ty and AJ were present. We got a lot of things to say about that. We're going to be talking about the season expectations this week. We're going to be talking about our hidden gem this week, which is basically our player of the week. That's what we're going to be calling them. It's basically our player of the week, and we're going to talk our power rankings, and then what to expect game of the week this week, the other games going on, and so forth. And then if we can get this in here, we're going to get Austin Bolt on the show to give you his lightning round picks of the week. So first things first, we want to give a special shout out to Eagle Ridge Apparel, who they're an amazing company helping us with our merchandise. As you see there, AJ's got some merch, some shirts. And if you guys saw Ty and AJ at the game this week at Mountain View versus Meridian, you probably saw them wearing some stuff. Huge shout out to Eagle Ridge Apparel. Go check them out and follow them on Instagram as well. We also want to remind you guys, that's hot, AJ. That is hot. We'll get to that in just a second, actually. A little bit later on, I'm going to have you talk about that shirt. Now, I want to remind you guys to follow us if you're not already doing so on Instagram. If you see that link below, that's our Instagram handle, at Idaho Underground Sports. Go check it out. Follow us on Instagram and make sure to be part of it, because we're building this with you guys. We want to be part of the community. We want to be part of the personalized feel around the football world. So we're going to get right into today's show and get the rundown from the guys who were actually there. I happened to be out of town this last weekend, but thankfully these guys brought some good coverage, and they're going to be talking about it. We're going to be starting with this game between Mountain View and Meridian. Mountain View obviously winning in a thriller, but we're going to start with AJ. Talking about this, AJ, talk to us about the atmosphere, talk to us about the game setting, and your whole thoughts on the entire thing.
Man, it was exciting. Friday Night Lights, right? First game we got to be at. We missed you, Guru. Cannot wait for this week because you're going to be present and just change the whole vibe. But, man, rivalry game, you could feel it. Even though it was first game of the year, Meridian, Mountain View, it's always hostile, whatever sport you're playing. But, man, really impressed by both defenses, which makes sense, right? Usually early on in the year, we talked about this Rocky Highland. It can be a little sloppy trying to find your rhythm. Both offenses were kind of up and down. Obviously, the first half, Meridian shut out Mountain View, and then the second half, Mountain View shut out Meridian. So defensively, I was really impressed. Saw maybe 4 or 5 of the best linebackers in Idaho all on the field not at the same time, but obviously you got Reynolds and William and, Tristan Martinez, who got hurt, but man, he was an animal and he was out there. Then Mason Childs, Garrett McKenna, and of course, my MVP of the game, Braden Garrison, was an absolute freak show. Really impressive linebackers in this game. Malachi Martinez really surprised me. He has so much poise and control, and his IQ is just off the charts. It makes sense why a school like Eastern Washington is looking at him. But I think both these teams are going to get better. Cross Antonacci was an absolute man. Quintez Evans, a lot of good football players. You could tell it was the first game for both teams. I hope these teams play again, because I don't know, and me and BST talked a little bit about this, I don't know if the right team won that game. I thought Meridian, from top to bottom, obviously Martinez goes out, changes a lot, but Meridian, I felt maybe outplayed Mountain View and didn't come out with when they missed an extra point. They missed a 33-yard field goal, which, if they were to do it again, I'm sure they would have centered the ball and made the kick a little bit easier. The huge sack by Jackson Beck killed them. That was the play of the game for me. That put the kicker in an uncomfortable position. Newer kicker. I know he's new to the team, soccer guy out there, but a great football game, great atmosphere. Has me absolutely hyped for Mountain View Rocky. Both these teams undefeated. Both of them are ranked number 1 in separate polls. And so it's going to be fun to watch, but great defensive effort in the first half by Meridian, just controlling the game. And then in the second half, they kind of flipped the script. It became Mountain View's game, and they just grinded, and those linebackers they were really impressive. Both secondaries locked up too. So it was fun to watch.
Man, just watching it from afar. I mean, I obviously wasn't able to be at the game. I did think that the defense for Mountain View locked in when they needed to, but I thought Meridian controlled that game for the majority of it. There was one play that sticks out to mind. It was like a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2. It was a 4th and short, and Meridian goes for it and gets stuffed right in the middle. And that was kind of what switched the momentum, because then Mountain View comes right down the field and scores on that next possession, just driving it down. It seemed like they were getting 5-6 yards of carry, if not more. Like, it just was like just punching them straight in the mouth. That was a big one for me. But I think you're right. That last kick actually got a good connection on the ball. It was one of those situations where I'm like, it's a high school kicker. You never know what you're going to get. And that's no disrespect to the kicker. That's just what you get in high school, typically speaking. But I thought it was a great looking kick. Just couldn't tell from the actual footage that I was seeing whether it was in or out. And obviously it was a miss. Close game. But I want to get Ty's thoughts too. And I also want you guys, maybe Ty, you could touch base on the atmosphere of the game. Obviously, Mountain View, we talked about it last week. They had the new turf. It was a huge, it was just kind of a cool little storyline there. The uniforms were sick for both teams. I love the helmets for Meridian, love the unis for Mountain View. And then the student sections and stuff. Everybody was hyped up. What was it like having football back? And Ty, give us your version of what it was like being there.
Yeah, so first and foremost, big shout out to all of the Mountain View fans and Mountain View themselves for having us out there, letting us do our thing on the sidelines. So big shout out to them. The Mavericks fan base, they kept it 100. They kept it loud the whole game. You could hear it from the other sideline. They showed out in the week 1 home opener. So big shout out to them. Shout out to Mountain View. I think AJ, you touched on it. I'm not sure that the better team necessarily won on Friday night, but I'm not surprised at the outcome. We picked that outcome. I think I was impressed with Meridian's ability to move the ball on the ground. Cross did his thing, but shout out to their offensive line. We had a lot of doubts about them. They helped pave the way. Cross, he averaged just under 4 yards a carry, which might not stand out to you, but it was physical, and they were just bullying their way down the field. So big shout out to the O-line, shout out to Cross. And even when they went back to pass, Malachi had plenty of time to make some plays, and he found his receivers, a few times. I think as the season goes on, hopefully he can get back on the field here sooner than later, and they can kind of open up their offense. But I think we saw exactly what we expected. It was going to be kind of some hard-nosed, defensive, run-the-ball sort of football in week 1. And I think, ultimately the depth that Mountain View had with their big tight ends, their offensive line, and a couple good backs in Quintez Evans and Dallas Slocum, who both found the end zone. So they did their thing in week 1. They need to find their air game a little bit, but so does Rocky. So this week will be interesting to see who can kind of get the ball moving through the air.
Totally. I loved just watching you guys, covering the game from the perspective that you had it here on the Instagram page, seeing the fans, the student section, everybody was hyped up, getting the on-field coverage. It was really, really cool. So again, if you guys haven't followed Idaho Underground Sports on Instagram, go do so, because every week we're going to be at a game and be showing you it from a different perspective. I thought it was just super cool to watch, and having football back was just amazing. But I will go back. Ty just alluded to it. AJ, you said it last week on the podcast. The depth of Mountain View ultimately is what prevailed. Neither team was like spot on. That's like the week 1 for each team. It was their first game. Those first game jitters, those first game, just trying to get the flow of things. It's a little bit different. It's one thing to be practicing. It's another thing to be in a game time situation. It takes a little while to find your flow. I'm not even sure any team found their flow necessarily, but we'll talk about that, see what goes into this next week. But yeah, ultimately Mountain View prevails, and they were our game of the week. Now, every week, guys, we're going to be talking about our hidden gem, player of the week. And this week, I want Ty to start talking about this guy and why we chose why we chose our player for the hidden gem this week, because it's a super special one in an unfortunate way, but there's a reason we chose him. So we'll have Ty give us a breakdown on our hidden gem this week. Talk to us who it is and what it's all about.
Ethan Mikita. I've gotten a chance to really get to know Ethan this year. Covered him really in depth with the 7-on-7 game with Triple Threat Academy. What this kid does on the football field is one thing, but who he is off of it is what I think separates Ethan from really a lot of these guys that I've gotten a chance to know. Just a grade A human being, and I think that we've seen that firsthand with all the love and support that we've seen him receive on social media. I'm sure that there's a ton more support that he's received, behind the scenes as well, which we're, trying to be a part of that and show him as much love as possible. He's one of the top-rated players in the entire state, well-warranted, physical kid who's been putting in the work all season long, or all year long. Has noticeably bulked up. His route running is ridiculous. His hands are ridiculous. It's a guy that could be playing both ways. And honestly, in the future, I think we're going to see the best version of him. He had one touch that he took to the house for a 51-yarder, and that pretty much sums up his ability to make something happen. And while we're all bummed and disappointed that we won't see more of that this year, I think we all know we'll see more from Mr. Mikita in the future.
For sure. Ethan Mikita, this week's hidden gem. AJ, we want to get your thoughts on it too, man. Give us a little bit of a rundown. Maybe show us that shirt again. I want to see, what you have to say about Mikita and his unfortunate situation that happened. But like Ty said, he had some good stuff. Woo, that's fire, man. Talk to us about him, what you know about the kid, and why we chose him as the hidden gem.
Ethan Mikita is a kid that when I moved here 5 years ago, one of the first kids I met, coached him in basketball for a couple of years, got to know the family. I'm a real estate agent. I just did a real estate deal with Faith Mikita, his mom, which was fun. I know the family really well. I know those Eagle kids well. This is heartbreaking. As soon as I found out, I was just gutted for the kid. I've been in touch with him, talking to him about it. And he's just got, his attitude is so positive. He says, I'm already on my way back. I'm already on my way back to being better than I was before it happened. So, his attitude is where it needs to be. He's definitely surrounded himself with the right people, and, he's got the right mindset. But the kid's hurting. One thing he said to me that stuck when I spoke with him was that I told him, I said, hey, man, it seemed like yesterday that I was coaching you 7th grade basketball. And he goes, yeah, now all of a sudden in the snap of a finger, it's over. And he's like, I can't believe it. He goes, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep going. I got goals and all that. So I'm excited for the kid. We're definitely going to keep up with the kid. When he has his success at the next level, we've talked about wanting to continue to keep people around the valley updated with how our athletes are doing, not just in high school like we've kind of started to do, but after high school with an Austin Bolt and Ethan Mikita, Ben Ford, Ty Tanner, all these guys. But the kid's got a great attitude. Huge blow for Eagle. Huge blow. Ty said it, one touch, 51 yards against a very good Bishop Kelly team. That's different, man. And that's the type of kid he is and type of athlete he is. And he works harder than anybody I know. And, but unbelievable person, like Ty said, on and off the field. And I asked him, so he has an MRI actually here in 7 minutes. It's 3:53 right now. I was going to go over to Eagle. My wife has a volleyball game tonight, and I was going to drop off his fire. But he said he had an MRI today. But I asked him if he's going to be at their game this Friday and all that. And he's like, dude, I'm still the leader of this team. I'm going to still go lead these guys. That's who he is. And that's dude. The pain is deep because the love is deep, man. You can tell this kid loves the game. Ty spent a lot of time around him. He loves this game, and you just see he's just part of him is broken, but he's around the right people, and he's got the right attitude. But definitely our player of the week, and he deserves it.
All the props go to Ethan Mikita. That's awesome, man. He's a leader. Our prayers, our thoughts go out with you, man. But like Ty and AJ just said, they summed it up. Leader on the field, off the field, great example to his teammates, and that's our hidden gem for this week. Again, if you guys are following us, we're going to be picking one of these guys out every single week. That's the whole point of this. This is why we call the podcast Gem Session. We're uncovering Idaho's top talents. Each week we're going to be choosing, who we think is this week's hidden gem. But we'd love for you guys to interact with us on social media. Let us know. Leave us a comment down below here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to this already, I'll just hit the subscribe button so you can listen to us once a week. You don't have to listen to us yap too much. Just once a week is fine. And subscribe to the channel and interact with us and let us know who you think should be the next hidden gem. Every week we're looking for more and more to, uncover so people can hear more about Idaho's top talents. Ethan, Mikita, this week's hidden gem. Going into the power rankings this week, we got a little bit of it's fun when we post the power rankings. You're naturally going to get some pushback from different people. That's kind of the pride of the teams, the pride of the fans, the pride of the programs. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on what happens, but we have a little bit of a sample size now of what we can rank. And so I think, we got some stuff to talk about, but these power rankings are kind of interesting. And we're going to go through these a little bit. I'm going to have AJ start, but as you guys see here, I'm going to put them here on the bottom. We've got the top 6, which is Rocky, Mountain View, Meridian, Capital, Eagle, and Skyview. Those are our top 6 in order. And then our bottom 6, we've got Timberline, Centennial, Owyhee, Kuna, Bora, and Boise. And I'm going to start real quick. If Boise, I saw a lot of people wanting to talk. They kept making comments, and I stayed pretty quiet on my side of things. And then I stood up for Boise. If you don't ever make me stand up for you if you're going to have a performance like that. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. You guys got to prove your point because you made me look like not a guru, basically, is what it is. So let's not do that again. I'm going to just put that straight out there. I was a little disappointed in the performance. I understand that happens. Not everybody can have a great game every game, but coming out here saying, oh, everyone's overlooking the Braves, okay. You got to prove something now. Now it's to the point where you got to prove it. But AJ, let's get your rundown first before we get over to Ty on this week's power rankings.
Well, Boise better prove it against Caldwell. So, I'm gonna pick Boise to win that game, and they better win that game based on all the chatter that we've heard. But man, Rocky Mountain View 1 versus 2 in the power rankings, both won in different polls. Like I said, our game of the week, of course, Battle of the Mountains. We're gonna find out who's won. Okay, we're gonna find out who's won early. I think teams will be different at the end of the season. That comes down to coaching and teams staying healthy and all that. But I like where we're at right now. I think Eagle with the Mikita injury should be – I think I like them at 5 now. I didn't necessarily like them ahead of Eagle week 1. I like them at 5 now without Mikita. And honestly, Eagles defense, giving up 5 touchdowns and over 300 yards on the ground to BK, that makes my eyes pop. Like, are they going to be able to stop anybody? I mean, I know they got Tyler Ball in the middle, Gage Jones, Donovan Jones. Man, they got guys that can play. They got one of the guys, one of the top, Brock White. Brock White's his name, top tackler for them this week. So they got playmakers everywhere, but over 300 yards to a back, that worries me a little bit defensively. But like I said, they got the playmakers. Capital, I like the weapons Max Clark has. Like the way Max Clark played, was efficient. Cody Walk's a freak show. Nate Cherry is a man. Avery Downey, 3 catches, 70 yards. He's a big play guy. They've got Jacob Olsen as well. I like their offense, but who I'm really, 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 really excited about is Centennial. I want to see how real Centennial is after seeing how real Meridian is. Defensively, Meridian was very good. I know it's going to be a little different with Martinez not there, but Braden Limley can play, and we'll touch on that in a second. But Centennial, for me, Keon Horton looks like he's Mr. Dual Threat in the SIC this year. His numbers on the ground and in the air both look nice. Orlando Clay, he had 14 carries for 73 yards and scored. And then Kyle Shabbat, Mr. 3-sport athlete over there, my guy, he's a force. So they've got some weapons. They gave up 30 points to Owyhee. I don't know what that means yet. Defensively, I don't know where Centennial is going to be, but I'm really excited to see them and Meridian. And that's a game that I kind of want to go to. But yeah, so I think there's not a lot of change. I think Timberline is going to be tough for them to jump up again playing playing a team like Ridgeview. I think Bora is about to get their lunch from BK. Owyhee will maybe be able to see if Owyhee can make some improvements against Capital. So I'm interested in the Owyhee Capital game, the Meridian Centennial game, and then I'm a huge fan, just so you guys know, my dark horse, and I am fanboying on them right now, is Skyview. I'm about Antonio Fafita, Dallas Curran, and a guy that because we didn't get all the stats on that game, Neo Fafita. Neo, like from the Matrix, Neo Fafita, and Antonio Fafita's cousin at linebacker, had 11 tackles for them, and we did not get that information. I cannot wait to watch Skyview play. They will knock people off this year because those are some dogs. So that's where I'm at with the top 10. I'm excited about this week. I think Cuna. I think Eagle's going to handle business. Cuna's got some guys. Lukenga threw for 400 yards, so that could be a fun one. But I am amped. Can you tell?
I can tell, man. This is exciting. And just speaking of stats, for those who are out there, get a hold of the people from your schools to get us the stats. Like we're not out here for any bad reason. We're here for good. We want to get you guys the information. So like AJ was saying, we didn't have Fafita's stats until just yesterday, maybe. It was like crazy, like either yesterday or today. I can't remember, but it was just recent. And it's like, guys, try to get us the stats as soon as possible. We would love to get the information out there so that we can have accurate statistics to provide to you guys. Now, Ty, break it down for us, what you're looking at in the power rankings, and if there's anything that stands out to you.
Absolutely. So kind of starting from top to bottom for me, ultimately Rocky Mountain View can decide 1 and 2 this week. Meridian took a loss, but we didn't move them down in our power rankings. I think that's something that I was surprised that we didn't get any feedback on. But we saw a really impressive Meridian team. And I think even with what Eagle and Capital were able to do this week, getting victories, I think it's warranted to keep the Warriors where we kept them. Now, to see what they can do with the backup quarterback, that's a different question, right? But when Malachi Martinez is in that lineup, I warrant them at number 3, absolutely. Going down to 4 and 5, you touched on it. I think, if Ethan's in that lineup still, you can probably move Eagle up. But I think it's safe to keep them where they're at now. They kind of got their quarterback situation figured out. Benson came out, averaged 20 yards a throw, kind of helped lead their offense. You mentioned all the weapons for Capital. They were out without, in my opinion, probably their 1 or 2 first or second top guy in Ethan Castillo. Tall, lengthy receiver, 2-star guy, according to Mr. Huffman with 24/7. He's been out. He should be back on the field this week for the Eagles, and he's going to open up their offense even more. So that's a team for me that could kind of make a run to that 3 or 2 spot if they play their cards right. Need to see their defense in action before I can really make an assessment on that. But offensively, they got some dudes that can really open it up. You mentioned Centennial. We've gotten a lot of heat for where we have them. They're coming off of 12 straight losses. They just snapped a 12-game losing streak, and they beat a team that's never played together before. So let's go ahead and hold the roses, and we're going to keep them where they're at. We're going to see how they do against a backup quarterback this week. Depending on how the outcome of that game goes, we'll see if they move up. But to put them over Timberline that's a risky assessment. Wade Zenner and Taylor Markham over there, they were running all over the place. So watch out for them. I think them and Skyview right now, to me, are right in that same boat. Got some guys, but need to kind of prove it on both sides of the ball to get them over the hump. And then kind of rounding out the bottom 4 with Owyhee, Bora, Cuna, and Boise. You mentioned Boise. I'm going to keep them right where they're at until proven otherwise. But Cuna showed off that they can score some points, and they were coming from behind. I think they had a lot of turnovers early in that game, but they showed that. I mean, to put up 400 yards of passing offense in week 1, I mean, you're doing something. So I think that's something to kind of monitor over there in Cuna. But as of right now, I think all of those teams are pretty set in place where they're at.
Guys, good power ranking breakdown for this week. Again, I love how the fans, you'll hear them, and I give you that because you have pride for your programs, you have pride for your school, whatever it may be. maybe you got the pride for your homies out there. But like when people are saying, hey, you're sleeping on Centennial, you're sleeping on Boise. Well, first off, Boise put me to sleep. So I'm going to keep sleeping on them till they prove me otherwise, period. But then like Centennial, Ty just broke it down perfectly for you. There's no disrespect here, but we can't really, it would be nonsense for us to move them up right now. But like, keep working, and we'll give you guys the respect you deserve if you earn it. That's the whole point of this. So keep doing that, and we'll see where you guys are at moving forward. Moving on in the show, we're going to get to this week's game of the week, which I'll start with, a little bit of what I'm excited for. This is Rocky versus Mountain View. We've talked about it a couple times already. 1-2 in our power rankings. And last week we brought up how Rocky against Highland was missing some of their dogs, and neither one of these teams looked perfect. I mean, actually, if we're being 100% honest, both of them struggled to put up points on the board, playing some stingy defenses in their first round matchups, and so their week 1 matchups. So what I'm excited for is the adjustments. I want to see like what makes the difference between a great team and an elite team is like, this is how I always break it down, even for college football. It's like you have good teams, you have great teams, and then you have elite teams. There's very few elite teams in college. Well, it's the same thing in high school. There's very few elite teams. What makes the difference between a great team and an elite team, in my opinion, is the ability to make adjustments. That's also coming from coaching. Coaching adjustments must be made. In week 1, we saw a lot of gaps. I mean, teams getting ran over, teams getting thrown on. Like, that's where you have to make adjustments, because you might have the personnel, but how do the coaches put those players in the right positions and adjust their schemes properly? And then how do the players make those adjustments? What are they doing in the film room? What are they doing here? What are they doing here to prepare? That's where we're going to start to see the separation. Now, it's still early in the season, but that's what I'm looking forward to in this game. Rocky versus Mountain View. Who makes the adjustments where they're necessary? Who has the better coaching? How does that go? Because sometimes it's a chess match and it's a mental game just as much as it is a physical game. And you got to see, who's making the least amount of mistakes. You got to have, can Rocky hold on to the ball? That was one of the biggest things in week 1 for Rocky to me. Like, hold the ball. Like, hold on to the ball. If you're a running back, learn how to hold on to the ball. That's from Optimist football all the way up. You learn how to hold on to the ball. Well, you're not going to get away with that against Mountain View, dropping the ball and having self-inflicted wounds like that. So I'm looking forward to the adjustments, how they adjust from their week 1 matchups. Now, I'll let Ty break it down, what he's excited for and what we're looking forward to from this week's, game of the week with Rocky and Mountain View.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Which team can get their passing offense going first? On our week 1 leaderboards, Dawson Wall, Tegan Sweeney, the bottom 2 in our top 10. Both got wins, so that's all that matters, right? But I think for them to win going forward, they're going to need to get up more than 120 yards in a game passing the ball. So whichever guy can get that going this week is going to separate that team, right? I think that Rocky has the receiving weapons to be the first one to do that. I like CJ Jacobson. Luke Lucchini is kind of an underrated guy that we haven't really mentioned yet, but he can catch the ball. You got Jackson Mason, you got R. Williams out of the backfield. Hunter Stecker has proven he can make some plays out of the backfield. So I think they have a little bit more firepower. Both teams have controlling offensive lines and big physical defenses. So ultimately, my biggest thing is who can get that passing going first.
Exciting. AJ, what are you looking forward to in the game of the week?
Ty said it. I want to see who's got the better passing attack. I think Dawson Wall can be a 300 yards a game guy. But I'm curious about his receivers. So Saya Ross is a guy I want to see pop off. I want to see him dominate his matchup. I just don't know enough about the receivers. They didn't show me anything because I questioned Meridian secondary. But they locked up that passing game. I mean, it was. Luckily, that offensive line, Mountain View's, who I think is potentially the best in the league, completely came out and dominated the Meridian defensive line that second half. You can watch the push, just push. Evans ended up over 100 yards, and I was surprised. I thought Cross was the leading rusher in that game. He wasn't. Evans just 5-6 yards, 7-8, 5-6, 7-8, and then Slocum, he broke his 20-plus yarder. I mean, that offensive line took the game over. I think Mountain View has the upper hand when it comes to offensive line. I think their offensive line is better than Rocky's. I think that may be Rocky's their weakest link. And like I said, I'm still figuring this all out and learning based on research and all that. I think Mountain View's got the advantage there. I don't know who has the advantage at quarterback quite yet. I want to see that. I want to see more from Wall. I want to see Sweeney have to kind of, stretch the field a little bit. But like Ty said, when it comes to skill position guys, I think Rocky Mountain every year is going to have the depth, at least have more dudes that can do more things. Hunter Stecker is a guy that we saw a little bit of and know a little bit about, but I'm hearing he's the real deal. He's a show, and he's tough to stop. And now Jacobson, I think, is going to be back. Cade Thompson is a huge get if he's back. Landon Young up front is going to be huge for them on that defensive line going up against Mountain View's offensive line. But I really, really, really like Mountain View's linebackers. Like, that may be right now my favorite group, position group out of any team in the league. I really like Centennial's backfield with Horton and Clay also. But, man, I want to see if this Rocky offensive line, I want to see if Rocky can score points. I want to see if Sweeney can stretch the field and that offensive line, who I think is their weakest link, go up against that defensive front of Mountain View, who I love. So it's going to be interesting. I think Rocky at home, that's an advantage. I think Mountain View is going to clean up enough through the air. Are we giving our picks right now? Oh, wait.
We're going to give our picks here in just a second. We're going to break that down here.
Okay, but that's how I feel.
Okay. We already know how AJ feels. All right. So to that point, you guys, game of the week, Rocky versus Mountain View. Stay tuned. We'll have more information on that moving forward. But we'd love to hear from you guys, too, what you're excited about for the game of the week. Leave us a comment. Let us know. Interact with us. Again, that's what we're here for. We want to interact with you guys, the fans, the players, coaches, anybody who's out there, parents. You guys just interact with us and let us know. And we're all becoming educated. None of us are perfect, but we're here to do our best to make this a fun experience for everybody. So let us know as we continue moving forward with the season. As we're getting ready to wrap up the show, our final couple segments here, we're going to start with our weekly breakdown and then finish it off with our lightning round with Austin Bolt for this week, which we'll have him choosing his picks here, later on in the show. But our weekly breakdown is where we're going to be making our picks, and I'm going to have this going across the bottom here. We've got some games for you guys to take a look at. We're going to get AJ's picks and Ty's picks for this week, just to let you guys know. And then I'll pick mine too, kind of give my breakdown with a quick analysis. We won't keep it too long, but starting with AJ, let us know, breaking it down from every game, not just the Rocky Mountain View one.
All right. Sorry, just trying to call Mr. Bolt to let him know he's almost on here. So I'll start with Caldwell Boise. I'm going to go Boise, which I'm surprised. I'm going to pick Boise in a game, but they've got to show us something, And then BK Bora, I think BK is going to absolutely run through Bora. I think it's going to be a 3 to 4 touchdown game. I think Timberline's going to handle Ridgeview. I think Zenner, Markham, Bridges. Anthony Bridges was the leading receiver in the SIC this week when it comes to statistics. I think they're all going to have big games and pad those stats again. That's a Thursday night game. Excited to see what happens there. Eagle Cuna, I like Eagle. I like Eagle all the way around, even though that running defense, that worries me a little bit. Cuna likes to throw the ball. Donovan Jones, Gage Jones, I like those pieces for Eagle, kind of harnessing that in a little bit. Deegan Martino showed that he could step in, 7 carries, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those are serious numbers to come in behind Mikita. So that offensive front at Eagle looks like they're pretty solid. That running game didn't skip a beat. Going to be interesting to see if they can still do that. But I'm going to go with Eagle in that one. I do like Cuna's receivers as well. Schnar, Celto, and Gus Austin is number 2 in the league in receiving yards right now. Sean Austin's little brother. So that could be a high-scoring affair. I'm excited for that one. I got Skyview beating Nampa. Nampa showed that they're not bad. Again, they played with Capital for a while. I like that game for Skyview to show how real they may be, because Nampa took it to the 4th with Capital. So I like Skyview in that game because I'm a Skyview fanboy right now. So I'm going to go with Skyview. Capital goes to Hawaii. I think it's close early. First game out of Hawaii ever. I'm going to go Capital by 3 touchdowns or so, though. I think they just handle business there. Centennial Meridian. I want Centennial to prove how real they are. Kind of like Ty was saying, they broke a 12-game losing streak, finally got that win. They got some playmakers, some dudes. But, I mean, Brad Ames on defense, he leads the league in tackles right now, 14 tackles a game. Him and Fabrice Dunatorum, I don't know sorry if I said that wrong. I'm going to have to get that last name. They both had double-digit tackles. Excited to see what they do again. But I like Meridian in that game at home. If Centennial wins that game, like Ty said, maybe a different conversation. Martinez not being there is a big deal, but defensively, Meridian was really good. And then our game of the week, Rocky Mountain View. Yikes! I was at Eagle Ridge Apparel today getting the shirts made. I was talking to Josh about it. One of Rocky Mountain's players, Tegan Hugh, I think he's a receiver. His sister was there. And we were all talking about it, and I didn't know who I was going with. I still don't know who I'm going with, but I'm going to sit here right now on the spot. I'm going to pick Mountain View. I like Mountain View's offensive line. I like Mountain View's front 7 against Rocky's front. And if I had to pick a quarterback right now, I'm probably going with Dawson Wall because I know he can stretch the field a little bit. I want to see Tegan Sweeney stretch the field. Both backfields have multiple guys that can do things. I think Hunter Stecker could be an X factor. Jacobson's got to be back. He's got to be there. I think Thompson and Young being back, it's a tough pick. I'm going to go with Mountain View. Just like I did last week. I'm 1-0 picking Mountain View. I'm going to go with them again on the road.
Nice. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, we'll stick with that game of the week to start me off, keep it fresh. You're going with your guy Wall. I'm gonna pick Sweeney in that matchup. I'm going with the Grizzlies. I think that they're gonna go home. They're gonna come back to Rocky, defend home turf. They're gonna start things off with a bang here in the Valley and win the Battle of the Mountains. It's gonna be a tough physical game. Truthfully, I think we could end up seeing a very similar scoring affair that we've seen from both of these teams already. If someone gets over 20 points, I definitely think that'll be the winner of this game. But I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies in that one. I think we saw a more efficient outing from Sweeney in week 1 from the quarterback position. He might not have the arm that Wall, I haven't seen it from Wall yet, but the efficiency I liked. It was only 5.5 yards per pass or something, but, over 70% completion percentage and got the win in Highlands. So, I'm liking those numbers. Moving on in our weekly schedule here, Centennial Meridian. I think Centennial fans are probably just going to continue to dislike me here, but I'm going to go with Meridian's physicality, and I'm even, their backup. I think he came in and showed some poise. He almost won them that game last week. So I'm going to take Meridian in that one. I think they take care of business. Prove these Centennial guys that it's not as easy as it looks to be one of the top dogs. But moving on to next game, we have got Timberline Ridgeview. Hopefully Ridgeview fields a team this week. They had to cancel their game last week due to COVID concerns. So hopefully they get everybody back and can put a game on, get their season rolling. But I'm going to take Timberline in that one. Capital going to Hawaii for their first game of the season. I think, especially with Castillo in the lineup and what we saw Centennial do to Hawaii, I think Capital goes in there and stomps them pretty good. Nampa Skyview going with the Hawks in that one. I think they've got some guys, like you said. Be interesting to see what they can do. Nampa did show they can hang with, a pretty good 5A team in Capital. So we'll see what they can do here in week 2. Caldwell Boise, I'm going to give Boise the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Brave in that one. Hopefully they don't make me feel silly like they did with Shane here. Bora against Bora against who we got here?
BK.
BK showed an impressive outing here in week 1 against Eagle. Really, they had every opportunity to win that game. I think they come in, definitely take care of the Lions. Bora got some points up. They almost dropped 30 week 1, but I don't think it'll be enough to hang with what BK's got going on. Last game here, we got Eagle against CUNA. Gonna go with the Mustangs in that one. I think they put in a similar performance that Lewiston did. I see them dropping 40 plus, and the Cavemen will be playing from behind for most of that one. So that's my roundup.
Yeah.
All right.
Shane, Austin Bolt is unavailable. He's got Boise State football right now, so he's going to do his picks and send it on a video later. But like Ty said, shout out to Seth Knopf, our 4A player of the week, for 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards for BK against Eagle.
Crazy, dude. So real quick, so like you guys heard here, we're gonna have Austin Bolt. We'll put that here as a clip for the lightning round. We'll have him get the video in before we post this to YouTube. Let me quickly run down my picks before we wrap this one up today. I'm not going with Boise. They made me feel like a fool, so I'm gonna go with Caldwell. Simple as that. BK, I feel like BK is gonna come out and dominate. I actually really appreciate BK's culture. I appreciate their program. They've always just been consistently super good. No disrespect to Bora, but I think BK is a solid team from what we just saw this last week. Timberline Ridgeview, again, like Ty said, if they can field the team, yeah, that's gonna be great. But I think Timberline wins that one. Eagle versus CUNA, I got Eagle winning that one by 2 touchdowns or more. Nampa versus Skyview, I'm going with Skyview. I'm a Fafita fan, dude. Like I like how Antonio was he was helping out his boy, he's coming in. Like they have a love for each other and that team, and that's a brotherhood that I think is awesome. So I'm going with Skyview on that one. Capital versus Hawaii. Here's where I'm going to differ. As you guys hear my phone going off here in the background. Here's where I'm going to go. I'm going with Hawaii at home, and here's why. I think it's just going to be exciting. It's one of those weird games, first game ever at Hawaii High School. We'll see what if they're going to try to bring their own culture, their own tradition. For some reason, I have this like weird feeling about them. If they were able to put up 30 points in their first ever like full game, let's see what they can do at home. I want to see what they can do if they can build off of that.
They also allowed 60 though.
Hey, listen, I'll go back to what I said. We'll see what adjustments can be made when it comes to these second games, because new coaching staff, new personnel. We'll see what Coach Blaser does over there with that Hawaii team, and see if he can get everybody in the right positions. Yes, they gave up a lot of points, but I want to see if they can put, in my opinion, if you can put up more points than the other team, it doesn't matter what you do on defense. So we'll see what they do, if they can make those adjustments necessary. Meridian Centennial for me, guys. I'm a Warrior fan. From what I saw, I think they can do this. However, they will have their hands full with that Centennial offense. I really think that's a tough one. If you have a running attack and anybody who, like a quarterback who can run the ball, and you have a good running back, it's just so hard to defend. It's one thing if you're just a passing attack or whatever, but when you have a running attack as a defense, that is so difficult, because if you're getting 5-6 yards of carry and those drives are just long, sustained drives, you get worn down. It's like taking body punches in a fight. You just get worn down by the end of it. It's going to be very difficult for Meridian, but I think they can do it, and I think they have something to prove, because they got a bad taste in their mouth from that loss against Mountain View, because they feel like they should have won that. And then Rocky versus Mountain View. Here's where I'm going to pick Rocky. 1, they're at home. 2, I think that defensive line, maybe because we didn't watch them last week because they didn't play last week, but Rocky's defensive line is so stellar. That defensive front 7, if you will, is so stellar. So I think if Mountain View cannot get the passing game going, they will not move the ball. And that's just my opinion there. I think Rocky sticks them in the front 7, so they're going to be forced to pass the ball. Now that's where we have to see. Yeah, it goes back to the point of who gets the passing game going. But I think that Rocky Mountain defensive front will absolutely stifle Mountain View's attack. I don't think they're going to get those long, 20-yard carries here and there, especially in critical situations. I think Rocky is coming out ready to fire, and I think Rocky will win by 2 touchdowns or more. I really do. So that's what I'm going to pick. Again, who knows? I picked Boise last week, so that's my picks for this one. We'll send you guys over to the lightning round with Austin Bolt, and then give us a couple seconds. We'll send that over, and then we'll wrap this up.
For this week's podcast, I'll be doing it in Orlando, Florida, just a couple days before the UCF Boise State game. For the first round of my picks, it's Rocky versus Mountain View, and I'm taking Rocky. And it's Capital versus Hawaii, I'm taking Capital. It's Centennial versus Meridian, I'm taking Centennial. Eagle versus CUNA, I'm taking Eagle. Ridgeview versus Timberline, I'm taking Timberline. Caldwell versus Boise, I'm taking Caldwell. Nampa versus Skyview, and I'm taking Nampa. And BK versus Bora, I got to go Bora.
All right, so there you guys have it. We just pushed it out with Austin's video there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. If you guys have any questions for Austin Bolt, make sure to let us know. We'll do like a question of the week for him. We'll throw it his way. Maybe he has, if there's something you want to know about the guy who's playing for Boise State, keep us posted and we can run it by him and let him know. So, all right, guys, this is Gym Session. We're going to be at one of the games this week. Do we know which game we're going to be covering yet? Or is that still kind of yet to be determined?
I think we might be hitting multiple games. Stay tuned.
Keep following us. Again, if you guys haven't seen, we're on Instagram. Follow our channel at Idaho Underground Sports. Go follow our Instagram page. Check us out. That's the logo, and you'll know where we're at. We'll be making more announcements of where we're going to be coming forward. So this is Gym Session signing off. Hopefully we'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you at the game.
Do it right, Mountain View.
Go Rocky.